Hey everybody, I'm so excited to introduce you to my friend Carly. And for all of you to meet her and hear her incredible story, literally when I think of girl boss, Carly comes to my mind. Like, as you hear what this girl is up to, you will be inspired and encouraged, and you'll immediately go follow her on social media because she's just amazing. So Carly, welcome. I'm so excited.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me, Emily.
Girl, thank you. And hey, to kick it off, just introduce yourself. Who's Carly?
All right. So my name is Carly Hartman. I am 20 years old, almost 21. Finally, it's taking forever to turn 21. Ooh. I'm so young, but so much has already happened. Anyways, I graduated community college last year. And so this past year I've been working full time, but I started my first business when I was 17 years old, the day after high school got out. And I now have 3 businesses, technically 4. It's really confusing. Even I'm confused, but that's what my life's all about. And I love Jesus so much. I've been a Christian my whole life, but never got a full on relationship with him for myself. Until I was my first year in college. So it was 2 years ago when I started realizing that he works for you and not just on your parents' blessing, but living on your own blessing. So, that's a little bit about me. And I am a photographer and I do wedding coordinating on the weekends on the side. I used to be a barista. But anyways,
You are definitely a girl boss for sure. Oh my goodness. You said it so right. You've already experienced so many things. I'm so pumped to see where God continues to take you because you've accomplished a ton, and I know he's going to continue to work in you. Yeah. And I've been able to hear parts and pieces of your story as we've been getting to know each other. And I'm excited for you to share your story with Becoming. So share your story. What's made you Carly?
Well, Carly's still on that journey, I would say. We don't really get there until a while down the road because there's so much to learn. That wouldn't be fun if you're just your final person in one day.
Totally.
But I would say that I was a super shy child when I was little and in elementary school. But it was crazy, painfully shy. I would hate ever confronting people, ever talking to people. I was just not that kind of person. And now I do tons of public speaking. So it's just hilarious the way God has totally changed me. But I just became a super social butterfly in middle school when I realized that there's so many lost people, even in a public middle school. Everyone's 13 and under, yet still super lost. And I was just the person that, my parents always taught me to see the outside perspective of things. So even though, I was bullied, I have a bully experience from elementary, middle school, and high school. Wow. But what's funny is I don't ever talk about that. Oh my gosh, guys, I was bullied. I talk about oh my gosh, no, honestly, being bullied was kind of fun because I got to be super nice to the bully and see that oh my gosh, hey, you're super hurting. Can I help you? We can talk about that later. Anyways, throughout middle school, I just really became open and talking to everyone around me, and I just something broke over me, and I know that was just the Lord for sure breaking that over me. And then I get into high school, and it's a private Christian school, and it was just the best experience ever. However, everyone there is it was a great school, but everyone's kind of really extra preppy and which I'm also preppy too. I was a cheerleader and everything, but people there just kind of to brag a lot or whatever it may be. It's just going to happen in any high school, but especially at this private Christian school where everyone around you is super rich and all this stuff. So it's just kind of sad to see people that don't appreciate life, just realistic things. You're wait, but Christian school equals Jesus, but there's still just as little Jesus in this school as there is in public schools. Yep. So anyways, there I got to be such a light to people too. And I don't take any credit for this. This is all the Lord, because I don't know why I survived high school, being perfectly fine out of it, because I said, I was bullied and whatever else. But I did, and I did get to impact some people's lives because I just was obedient to letting the Lord work through me. And we all can do that even at such a young age. So high school was kind of over, and it was a very college preparatory school. So we're supposed to know our four-year university options by freshman year of high school. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to either Pepperdine or actually I just want to go to Pepperdine. That's what it was. So like my whole 4 years preparing to go to Pepperdine, and everyone goes to Pepperdine University out of my high school. So like, it's really easy to get into, like so easy. And so, I'm like, you know, applying to everything. I've applied to like 6 places and I don't get into Pepperdine. I was like, wow, that's a sign or something. Meanwhile, a few months before like senior year started, I heard at a Jesus Culture conference, God slightly whispered to me saying, wait a year, like after high school. And I was like, that wasn't God. And I just kept worshiping. And so, I know this was the entire year of high school, but, I still applied everywhere, still wanted to go. Peer pressure is terribly crazy because we're all supposed to go to 4-year. And so I, you know, am like putting all my money on Pepperdine, don't even get in. And I was just devastated. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, first of all, I never knew there was life outside of high school. Like I'm obsessed with school. So like, I like am a professional student. If I could be, I would be. Like, I love school. I love school supply shopping. I want to get a cash register for Christmas one year. I got it from Santa. I like got gift cards from Staples and Office Depot for birthdays. Like, I just love it.
That's awesome.
Kind of like a prophecy of like my business future. But anyways,
for real.
So, yeah, so just like love school so much, and I'm like, there's no life outside of school. So I don't get into Pepperdine, but I did get into Azusa Pacific University, and I was like, great, I'll just make this my alternative. I'll go there. So, you know, after a few like weeks of being committed there, God wakes up both of my parents at the same time, like at 2 a.m. one night, and they're both like, oh my gosh, Carly's not supposed to go to college. And then like they were talked about it, and it felt really bad to have to confront me and tell me this, because my parents are my best friends. So like we talk about everything, you know?
Yep.
And so I always obey them, whatever they say, and especially what they hear from the Lord. I always obey, no matter how hard it is. This was definitely the first time. It was like the hardest decision of my life. And my parents sat me down and like said, God told us you're not supposed to go to Azusa Pacific University. And I just started crying because I was like, why couldn't you tell me earlier? I mean, Carly, God told you like before it started. But anyways, I was like, but you know what? You guys are always right, which I hate sometimes, but you're always right. So I'm going to listen to you. And like, I was only afraid of having to tell people around me because it was just terrible, like terrible. You would literally be excommunicated from your friend group if you were not going to a 4-year university.
Wow.
So, so I had to tell everyone. I told like my college counselor and all this stuff, and it was just like really hard. I mean, now of course I literally could care less because I'm like, wait, high school's not your life, but I thought it was.
Right.
And so, I would just get comments here and there, like saying, oh my God, I feel so bad for you. Like, it's okay. It's okay. I'm fine.
Yeah.
My life, not yours. So I decided to go to a community college that, you know, for college instead. And that also you don't do because you spend so much money on private high school, and like, you're an idiot for going to community college. Like, why would you do that? So anyways, it's just all funny even hearing it now because I'm like, wow, that was really stupid. So I graduate high school, and the next day, since it was such a great school, always like empowering you to start things, I started my own business the day after high school called Corewear, and it was a jewelry and clothing line, and I'm still working on the clothing. It just kind of takes forever downtown, and so many other things in my life right now are going on. I'm like, I'm just going to stick to jewelry because it's way easier for me to do. So it's just a jewelry line, and that's been going on now for 3 years strong. But yeah, so anyways, at like my community college, like God just was so great there. Like usually people tend to stray away in college, but I like grew closer to him in college because I got to see like literally the real world, because my private high school was a very big bubble, you know, and it was still real world things happening there. But at this college, it's like crazy real. So I got to see like God work through me in people's lives there. And I still have some of my best friends to this day I met there. Wow. And I always would tell people that God would minister to through me, like, you're the reason why I'm here, because I did not want to be here at all. So I'm just going to say, you are the reason why I'm coming here. So it's just really cool to see like what's happened over the years, because literally a few weeks ago, I went back to my high school to see someone graduate there as a senior. And I was sitting in the same chair I used to sit in chapel every week. And I'm like, I wanted to cry. I was like, I'm a totally different person. Like, I don't even recognize the girl that used to sit in this chair because I just was like, even though I was still super confident and everything like that, as you know, more than a high schooler should be, I still like was lacking so much in like the self-image and like all of that area, as a lot of girls do struggle with. So it's just really, really cool to see like what the transformation has been. I'm now on that solid path of just like discovering more of like who I am in Christ, because identity in Him is number one. So yeah,
absolutely.
That's a long answer to
that. That's huge though. And I like absolutely love how you've been able to look back and you were sitting in that same chair, seeing like who you were and who you are now and the becoming journey through that. But I think one of the things that stuck out to me the most is your excitement that it doesn't end here. You're continuing this journey of becoming who God wants you to be. And that's incredible.
Amen.
So if you were, hanging out with another girl on her own becoming journey, kind of like we are right now, what would you say to encourage her as she's pursuing, maybe she's sitting in her own chair, seeing who she's been and who she is now? What would you say to encourage her to continue becoming who God made her to be?
I would say that the main root of not doing something and like being, oh my gosh, I can't do that, I'm too young or I'm too old, would be fear. Like fear is like kind of the root, in my opinion, of all issues like that. So I would just tell her not to fear, because that's kind of like the anthem of my life, I would say, because I really struggled with fear. Like a little bit in college and high school, and overcoming fear was like the best thing ever for me, because I haven't let anything get in my way. And, age doesn't matter. Skin color doesn't matter. Like education level doesn't matter. Like nothing matters to keep you away from God's calling on your life, because if God has told you to do something, you need to do it, or else He'll give it to someone else, because like He's calling you and He knows what you're capable of. There's countless amount of stories like that in the Bible. And so you can't doubt like that calling, because you're doubting God. He's called you to be something that He believes in you that you can be. And so that's what I would tell someone, because sometimes in life we fear a lot. Make time for fear. But I always tell the story back when I was in Hawaii a year ago or something like that. We went surfing with my family, of course, on an excursion. And like my sister is she's younger than me. She's 18, I'm 20. And so usually she's like more of the confident one than me. And so we were like out there surfing, and it's really like kind of scary. Like it's kind of a funny story, because my surf instructor was like, oh my gosh, it's like really tiny waves. Like it's a really small canal. You won't even notice you're even riding waves. Just like, try, practice, get out there. He's like, sorry guys, it's like really crazy out here. We're like, shoot. He's like, but we're gonna do it anyways. Okay. So we start like surfing and all this stuff. My sister goes first, and she comes back and starts bawling. My mom is like, are you okay? She's like, no. And she like starts crying so hard. And I was like, oh my gosh, if Sophia's crying, that means it's really bad. But I had to go next anyway. So I like went on this stupid wave. I'll never surf again. I went on this stupid wave, and it like totally collapses me. I like fall underwater. I don't know which way is up or down. And like I'm about to die. But literally in those 2 seconds, I was like, I don't have time to fear. So I had to figure it out and get up. And so that's the end of that story. But it really relates to this part of life where I say don't fear, because I didn't have time to fear in that moment when I was about to die underwater. And a lot of us can relate to those stories too in our lives, where we didn't have time to fear in like that kind of high adrenaline situation. So then why would you ever make time to fear in life when you have all this going for you, and then you're going to like distract the whole plan and totally fear? So just to me, I'm really happy God showed me that story, or to relate to that situation, because it's just so true. We all tend to make time for fear in life when that's not even necessary. Fear is literally this big, and it can't affect you at all.
That's huge. Preach, girl, preach. I love it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, sharing your story and encouraging all of us on this journey. And hey, if a girl's watching right now and she's like, oh my goodness, I really resonate with you, how can she connect with you? What's your website? I know you have several organizations. Where can people connect with you online?
Yeah, so I've got a lot of Instagram, so I'm really sorry about this. But my personal Instagram is Carly Hartman with 2 Y's, and my jewelry line is called Corawear, so it's CORAAWEAR on Instagram. And then also for my organization, it's called Pageant 360. It's an inner beauty pageant for girls that I started 2 years ago, and that's just Pageant 360 on Instagram. And my website is carlyhartman.com. And my pageant website is pageant360.com, and Corawear is corawear.com. Pretty straightforward.
That's perfect. Yeah. And we'll have, for all of you watching, all of the links are in this post as well. So if you weren't able to write fast enough or don't remember, you can just click the links and connect with Carly, and definitely connect with Corawear, Pageant 360. I follow them and have checked them out. And A, super cute jewelry, and B, I love what you're doing with Pageant 360. So cool. So cool. Absolutely. And some of you are familiar with our friend Carrie Garcia from Freedom Movement. And actually, Carly was able to partner with Carrie this past year. So that's amazing. I love how God circles all of us together. So Carly, thank you so much for hanging today.
Of course. Thank you for having me. Emily's awesome, you guys.
Well, you're incredible, girl.
Thank you. Love you, girl.